If you're going to take away one thing from this video, let it be that whatever it is that you choose, check in and use it consistently, or else it's just a tool and it's not going to work for you. If you are feeling overwhelmed with all of the pieces of the puzzle that it takes to run a content creation business, then chances are you need to get organized. And in today's video, I'm going to share the must-have tools to organize it all that is literally going to save you hours each week so you can focus on what you'd love to do, which is actually creating the content. Now, I've been a full-time creator for a few years now, and trust me, I've tried like literally every system, from paper planners to digital planners to online apps to spreadsheets. I've tried it all. So I'm going to share exactly what works and what doesn't so you can decide for yourself the best tools to organize your business. Stay tuned to the end because I'm going to share my exact workflow and preferred tools as well. Now, you can disagree with me if you want, but one thing that I really believe in is that this one-size-fits-all approach is not great. To get organized, you really need to focus on 4 key things. The first is some kind of daily task management. This can be like Todoist, TickTick. I think even Google Keep has one. You can even do this on a digital planner or a paper planner. Write it down. It doesn't matter. You need some place to actually check off what you're working on a daily basis. But the thing about a content business is it's not just like these daily tasks, right? It's like a huge, huge project. So you're also going to need a project management system, app, software. I really do recommend you go digital with this. A planner, it's going to be hard to keep track of every little thing because you're not just writing, you're editing, you're sourcing pictures, maybe you're making video content, maybe you're working with brands, maybe you have freelance writers to manage, right? Like it's kind of a monster. So you really need a project management tool as well. You're also going to need to decide where you're going to keep all of these things. So some file storage is key. Maybe that's Google Drive, maybe that's Apple, maybe that's your local drive, though I don't recommend that. Maybe that's Dropbox, whatever it is, you're going to need a place to hold all your copy, all your pictures, all your video, your invoices, your branding. Like, where is this going to live? So these are the big 3 things that you're going to need to figure out. My bonus is that you also need some kind of recurring reminder system. You can build this in if you're using an app. Maybe you put this in your calendar. Maybe you just schedule it on your phone. The best way to make sure that you're really organized and running smoothly is to check in and make sure you have those weekly reminders scheduled. So when I first started, I used Dropbox for file storage. I used just like a paper planner or a digital planner to mark off my daily to-dos. And then I use Trello for project management. And I'll let you know a little bit later on in the video my current workflow and process. But one of the reasons I really wanted to share this with you is because getting organized is going to really help you stay consistent and it's going to save you hours of time each week. And as content creators, we tend to consume a lot of content, which means creators like myself are sharing a bunch of tools and apps, and shiny object syndrome is real. And you're going to get wrapped up and be like, well, let me try this and let me try that. And let me tell you, that doesn't work. If you're bouncing from tool to tool, it's not really about the tool. It's really about how it works for you and if you use it consistently. If you're going to take away one thing from this video, let it be that whatever it is that you choose, check in and use it consistently, or else it's just a tool and it's not going to work for you. One of the easiest things that you can try is either a paper or a digital planner. This is really great if you are just getting started, if you're a beginner, maybe you're not tech savvy, maybe you don't love staring at a screen all the time. Then just go on Etsy, download a template from GoodNotes. You can just order a paper planner, like whatever works. The barrier to entry on this is very, very low. So I really love this as a beginner approach. Or if you just love writing things down and you like the tactile feel of it. You may also want to use this in combination with another app, which I'll also talk about a little bit later in the video. Some people just love writing things down, and I think that's great. The one drawback of this is that you don't have it everywhere. If you're using a digital planner like GoodNotes, then you would have it with you, but you're not necessarily hauling a paper planner with you. So you are still going to want to have a system for ideas or writing things down on the go. This is also the one of the most like budget-friendly solutions on this list. It's basically free if you're printing something out from the internet. You can get digital and paper planners for under $40. Some of them are $3, $5, $8. I'm going to link a few of my favorites below. I actually have a full blog post on the best free planners and the best digital ones, so I'll be sure to link those in the description box. I love paper and digital planners because you're not distracted by online. There's nothing pinging, right? You're just sitting down and you're focused, and it feels great to write things down. And if you're a creative type, then you might like to decorate it either with digital stickers or paper stickers. It's a kind of more fun aesthetic way to go. But the drawback is that you don't necessarily have it with you the whole time. If you're out and about, you're probably not carrying a paper planner with you. So you still need a system to capture ideas on the fly. Digital planner, you might not have it when you're sitting at your computer. So there's just a couple of drawbacks that you might want to keep in mind for this. The next tool tool is a task management tool. And for that, I personally love and prefer Todoist. It is a free app, and I think it's $1.99 if you need to upgrade for more lists. It's very, very affordable. You can also try something like TickTick, Things3, or whatever task management tool of choice that you may have. But these are just some that are very easy. And while I personally use this for daily tasks, you can use this to track your goals. You can set up a whole editorial calendar in Todoist. If that is something that you are interested in learning more about or actually seeing, comment Todoist below and I'll make a video showing you how to create your own editorial calendar in Todoist. You don't need fancy tools or very expensive tools. This actually can handle it for you. One great thing I love is that you'll get digital reminders. They just rolled out a new feature so you're able to set out when something is due and your deadline for it. So you can see I'm working on it on Monday, but it's actually due on Friday. I love that I have it on the phone. The mobile usability is great and it's just a really clean aesthetic interface. Also, it's really low barrier to entry. It requires minimal setups and there's some built-in templates to get you started. Now, if you're a very visual person, you may prefer something like Trello. And I have used Trello in the past for an editorial calendar and I loved it. It's a Kanban style board. You just drag it across. So maybe this is for managing your content calendar and you can see when something's due, when it's being edited, when it's being published, and you can create a lot of checklists within. You can also do this with Todoist, but again, I'm just sharing a couple of best tools and options here, and Trello is definitely one of them. For this, I also recommend starting with a template because if not, it can be a little bit overwhelming. I would say the barrier to entry is low to medium, depending on how complicated you want to make it. This is really great to see a visual example of where you are in the workflow stage and where you are in the pipeline of content creation. I also like that you can expand it and it'll remind you of every single thing that you need to do. So say you're scheduling something to social media. Did you draft it? Did you edit? Did you add the keywords? It's got an area for you to put in every single little thing so it's not living in your brain. They also have a really great mobile app and it's pretty affordable. I believe there's a free version, and if you want to upgrade, I think it's something around $5 a month. So very, very affordable. Another tool you may want to check out that's very similar to Trello is Asana. And this one, it has task management and project management as well. And just like Trello, I do recommend starting with templates on this because it can be a little bit overwhelming. I haven't dug into Asana a ton. I dipped my toes into it in the past, but I ended up going with a different tool. This really helps bloggers break down every single thing in the process, kind of like Trello, where I mentioned that you can build in all the checklist reminders of every single little thing you need to do in your project, but you can also use it as a task management tool as well. And then you can see on the calendar when things are due and when things are going out. This is also really great for bloggers who are working on a team. So if you have team members, it's a really great collaborative tool. As far as the barrier to entry, I would say it's medium to high. It's a little bit more advanced. So if you're just starting out, maybe Asana is a little bit too robust for you, but it also will grow with you if you are looking for a tool that you can stick with while you grow. It's also got a really great mobile app and it's very budget friendly. There's a free version for you to try out and then there's a premium version as well. I'm sure you've heard of this next tool, and that is Notion. And Notion is very, very complicated and it's very robust. And I will just tell you right off the bat that if you are just starting in your content creation business, you probably don't need something like Notion. I currently use Notion now, but I have to admit that it took me a long time to wrap my head around it. I watched YouTube videos passively for months until one day it just clicked and I was like, okay, I need Notion. Notion is just very flexible and it's very customizable, and I can talk endlessly about it because that's what I use now, because it seemed to solve a lot of my problems in that I could find everything. Sometimes you have files in Google Drive and then you have this over there, and it really creates a central hub of where everything can live. And even though I said not everything is an all-in-one tool, it's not. I don't use Notion for task management, even though you could. It does create a really central location for all of my files and things to live. Like I said, Notion can be really overwhelming. I honestly recommend it if more intermediate to advanced stages because it's so flexible and customizable, but you can definitely buy templates. There are tons of people who sell templates. I'm working on maybe selling mine myself. I don't know. I have to make it a little bit more aesthetic because you got to figure out how it works for you. But this can manage everything from your budget and your finances to your sponsors to hosting templates for you to your editorial workflow, like literally everything. And what's great is that you can have it all at a glance on a really nice and tidy dashboard. I do think the barrier to entry to this is a little bit high. It does require quite a bit of setup, even if you buy a pre-made template, which is a great idea if you're overwhelmed with making one yourself. yourself. So you might want to edit these templates, or maybe it'll inspire you to have your own. It is free, but then premium if you want to upload a lot of files. And you can also share this with team members too. So I have a couple of files within Notion, just hosting like my SOPs that I share with my VA, and I don't have to host them on a website. I don't have to have them on a drive somewhere. It's just a living, breathing document that I can update that's shared with my VAs. Now, I'm not going to go through every single tool that exists because that would be way too long of a video, but I did want to give a couple of quick mentions of other items you may want to check out to see what works for you. CloakUp is also really, really popular. I have heard that it's a little bit complicated, so I didn't want to mention it in this video because it's complicated and a little bit more advanced. Maybe it's not. You can let me know in the comments if you use it and love it, but I feel like for the beginner to intermediate level, it's a little bit much. Airtable is also really popular. Airtable is like a living spreadsheet thing. I'm not a spreadsheet girly, but there are a lot of templates and people who sell ways and tutorials on how to use Airtable. Monday.com is really popular. And if you are a spreadsheet person, then yeah, you can give Google Sheets a try. I actually have a free 90-day editorial calendar that I created in Google Sheets. If you are interested in that, you can grab that in the description box below. Then you're not starting from scratch and you're not investing all this money. It is broken down into quarters and it really guides you on your goals. So if you are interested in grabbing that Google Sheet with the free 90-day content calendar, definitely look in the description box below for that. Once you have your tools all picked out, you're going to stick to them and combine them for maximum efficiency. I feel like this is where a lot of people go wrong. Like they have their Trello set up and they have their paper planner, but you really need to use it consistently and you need to combine it for maximum effort. So figure out what you're using for your daily tasks, figure out where your stuff is going to live, and figure out how you're going to track your projects. So for example, right now I keep all of my files within Google Drive. That's just where they live because I already pay for Google Workspace. So as much as I love Dropbox, and to be honest, I kind of prefer Dropbox, I was like, wait a minute, I have all this Google Drive storage that I'm already paying for Google Workspace. So I guess I'm just going to use that. So my files live there. And as far as managing the whole thing, everything lives inside of Notion. Even Notion will have links to my Drive files so I can easily find them, because once you have the Drive files, it kind of quickly becomes a mess and then you can't find anything. So there's like basically a map inside of Notion that is linked to my files so I can find them quickly and easily. And I will take a look at my deadlines and my goals, and then I will add those to Todoist. And that is what guides my daily and my weekly planning. So finding your own workflow that works for you can take a little bit of time. I think that can take a little bit of trial and error, and that's realistic. That's just real life. I think we all get shiny object syndrome, especially when you're just starting your business. It's very easy to just get distracted and be like, oh, I'll try this, I'll try that. Take a little bit of everything. But again, if you're a little bit of a beginner, try one of the beginner tools on my list. If you're more advanced or you're tech savvy or you're not scared of diving in and want something that will grow with you, then you may want to try one of the medium to more advanced suggestions on this list. I also highly recommend that you use one of these tools to keep track of your blogging goals. Maybe that's again on a digital planner or paper planner. Maybe you have your goals listed out in Notion. I'm keeping track of mine in two places actually. I have mine in Notion and Todoist. And if you want to learn more about how to set realistic goals that actually work for you, then go ahead and watch this video next.